Hi, my name's Bill Moore. I am the CEO of PacMoore. We started in 1989 when I left Procter Gamble, so we've been at this for almost 29 years now. When I think about an employee coming to PacMoore, I think there's a lot of facets of life that they can grow in when they come here, and that we can be a part of helping them experience growth. And first is financial. You know, we want people to have a financial experience here, and so growing at PacMoore is really about skill development, right? And it's not tenure. We try to train and help people see that as I develop skills that I can progress economically up a ladder. And we've focused a lot on that in the last few years and moved our compensation up, and we've also focused it on skills. And so that's first, is developing skills. And the great part about skills in our industry, manufacturing, is that they're transferable. There's a lot of skills here that are teaching you how to understand regulatory issues and how to understand work processes and manufacturing issues, and in particular the food industry. And so you learn food skills and food laws and how to work in a food space. Those skills are transferable, and they can bring you into a job at another company that you can grow and make even more money. You know, so first it's economics. We want people to grow economically. I would say second, we want people to grow relationally. So we want people to connect with other people and learn how to connect and relate to people. And as we're finding, the American culture has become so driven by social media, Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and phones and email and text messages, that we're finding that this ability to communicate is in face-to-face personal spaces is starting to be difficult, especially for the younger community. That there's just a bit harder transition into a work environment where that collaborative work environment really is engaged. You know, we have to talk to each other. We have to communicate with each other. When I get frustrated with you, I can't text you a message. I got to look you in the eye and say, man, that was really frustrating. And then the other person has to stay composed, and you have to stay composed. And you can't get angry and be sort of thin-skinned and insulted by everything. You have to contain yourself. That's hard for a lot of people. And so learning to work in teams and in a really productive and kind and loving, gracious manner is new skills for people. And so you can learn that in this kind of space, and it's really neat to watch that. It's fun to help coach that and train that and develop that in people. And then in that space also, you start to develop compassion. You know, you start to learn that people have things going wrong in their life, and that you have a heart for that, and you have compassion for them, and you help them, and you care for them, and that builds a loving community, and that is really something special. And I think a lot of our people come to us and their families are broken, and that sense of being connected to a family and connected relationally with people has been damaged, and they feel a bit isolated and lonely and maybe marginalized and left out. And so those people can come into a space like this and get connected and feel loved and cared for, and like there's a family for them here. So relational is a big issue for us. And then I think the third place where you can see people develop is this whole concept of emotional intelligence. You know, like, how do I manage and work my emotions and my feelings and my heart and all that kind of stuff? How do I do that in a very corporate setting? You know, how do I manage that space? How do I work that? And that's a little different than just the relationship piece, because I can have a relationship with somebody, but there's another thing to have a healthy relationship with somebody, to really develop a healthy relationship where my vulnerabilities can be talked about and theirs can be too, where my weaknesses can be talked about and theirs can be too. And we foster that kind of discussion. We want those kind of dialogue going on. And so that emotional intelligence is a place where we want people to grow. And I think, of course, lastly, is spiritually. You know, we don't ask anybody to be involved in any sort of spiritual growth in PacMoore, but we position events and things, Bible studies, prayer time, worship, community discussion groups. We position those in our plant so that people have access to this space where they can engage if they're thinking about spiritual things and they're wondering about maybe who God is, and is God real, and who is this person of Jesus, and what's that look like compared to Muhammad or Buddha or whatever. This is a place where that dialogue can happen. It can be open, it can be comfortable. There's no pressure. You don't have to be one thing or the other, but it's a place where people can start to explore what spirituality means and how that impacts their life, because obviously we believe everyone is a spiritual being. They're not just relational or physical, but they're actually spiritual, and so the spirit inside inside of us is calling out to the God that made them. It wants to be nurtured. It wants to be connected. It wants to know who that God is, you know, and wants to understand why He put them here and what their purpose is, and why would I have any value here? People want to know that. They want answers to those questions, and we want to provide those answers to people and help them and guide them on a journey. And of course, we believe that Jesus is God's Son, and that He came here and died, and that He did that so that we all would have a way home. It's not an exclusive path only for a few. It's open to all people so that all those who come to Him have a way home. And we want people to hear that message. We want them to know that truth. And so we make that accessible to people and allow them to go down that journey if they want to. And so we're really excited for people that want to join us in a spiritual journey, and we make that available to them. And so PacMoore is a place where people can grow spiritually. And so when I look at those categories of areas, those would be the ones that most important to me that people would see as life transformational categories.